Good afternoon, my YouTube viewers. In this particular video, what we're going to do is we're going to discuss the different kinds of sampling techniques and how the sampling techniques can be derived in Excel. So the first sampling technique that we're going to be discussing is the simple random sampling. And so in simple random sampling, every member of the population has an equal chance of being selected. So we've got some sample data, which is just data that A1, just data that we come up with. And then we have copied cells. So this is just some sample data that I've selected between 0 and 1. And then we copied the cells over. And then so for simple random sampling, what we do is we just take the first 10 cells of those random cells, and that's your simple random sampling. So you're just taking the first 10 cells of all of the cells that we've created, and we've created 50 cells. So you've got 50 bits of data, and simple random sampling, you just take the first 10, or you just randomly sample the first 10. And then so after we have the simple random sampling, you have another type of sampling called stratified sampling. And stratified sampling is you select 2 names from each region, divide the population into subgroups. So we've got some names. Dave is east, Frank is east, Alice is north, Carol is north, Grace is north, Bob is south, Eve is south, and then Heidi is south. And we don't have anybody from west. So what I could do, so we don't have anybody from west, do we? So we can say Ann is west. And Amber is west. And Kathy is west. So we've got 3 people in west. So we've got sample is count ifs F2 to F2, comma F2 is less than or equal to 2, and then sample, comma, space. So it's not F2 anymore, it's going to be F12. And then so that's going to be sample because that's east. And then now it's F3, counting F2, F3 is less than or equal to 2, and so it's a sample. And the same thing with north. So you're going to take 2 from east, 2 from north, and then the third one, you're not going to sample it because it's more than 2. And then Bob, you're going to take 2 from south. And then so what we're going to do is okay, so what we're going to do now is we're just going to modify this. So that's going to be okay, so it's going to be to F10 and then F10. So that should be sample. And that should be 11. And that should be F12. So now instead of, we've got 2 from east, 2 from north, 2 from south, and 2 from west. So that's your example of stratified sampling and how you make stratified sampling. So whenever I did this test, I didn't have anybody for west. So I just wanted to go ahead and modify it to put west in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do systematic sampling. And under systematic sampling, every K item in the population is selected. So we have N is 5, and N is 51, or N is 50 because you have numbers from I2 to I51 giving you 50. Step size is 10, so you're going to round down L3 divided by L2, 0. So step size is 50, and you're going to start at number 5. So the formula that we have is if brackets mod brackets row brackets I1 brackets minus L5 comma L4 equals 0 comma keep comma blank. So basically what that's telling you is if the mod of that is 0, you're going to keep it. Otherwise, it's a blank. So we're going to start with number 5. So that's what we did. We started with number 5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to divide 50 into 10, or every 10 steps. Every 10 steps, you're going to keep it. So now every 10 steps, we're going to keep the number. So we're over here on number 6, we're going to keep that. Number 16, we're going to keep that. Number 26, we're going to keep that. Number 36, we're going to keep that. Number 46, we're going to keep that. And we're going to have this particular code in every row, but it's going to change for row I1, and then you've got I2, row I2, row I3, row I4, row I5, all the way up to I15. So basically, that's how we do systematic sampling, and every K item in the population is selected. So now what we're going to do is another type of sampling is cluster sampling. So in cluster sampling, the population is divided into clusters. So you're going to have unique classes of math, science, English, art, computers, and it's going to be a cluster number of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got a student named James. He's in math, and he's in cluster number 1. And then so what we're going to do is we're going to randomly select cluster number 4. That's the cluster that we're going to randomly select. And so, and then in the cluster number, if it's math, it's 1. If it's science, it's 2. If it's English, it's 3. If it's art, it's 4. And if it's computers, it's 5. And you notice that this is an if statement because it has more than one if involved. And then what we do is we go to the cluster sample. So if P2 is equal to T8, you're going to keep it. Otherwise, it's blank. So that means if it's art, if the randomly selected cluster is number 4, which is art, you're going to keep it. So it's going to keep everybody that's in art. So it keeps Julie, it keeps Colette, keeps Valerie, keeps Laura, it keeps Liz, it keeps Vanessa. So that's cluster sampling. Another type of sampling that we have is called convenience sampling. And so that's going to be based on ease of access. So what we're going to do is we've got a bunch of names, but we've got the proximity being either close or far. So if they're close by, we'll keep them, but if they're far away, we won't keep them. So if W2 equals close, you're going to keep it. Otherwise, it's blank. So everybody that's close by, you're going to keep it. So like in the next one, W4 is close by, W7 is close by, W10 is close by, W13 is close by, W17 is close by, W20 is close by. So that's just a convenience sampling. So what we're doing in this particular sampling techniques, what we've done is we've covered the different type of sampling techniques being simple random sampling, systematic sampling, stratified sampling, cluster sampling, and convenience sampling. And those are just a few of the different types of sampling that you can carry out in Excel. So that concludes this video. In the next video, we will be talking about some more statistical concepts. So I hope you decide to watch it.